This morning, we are in the far, far north, deep in the Arctic Circle on Alaska's north slope.
Oh, it's cold.
We've spent the last 5 days taking on the adventure of a lifetime, driving our 22-year-old self-converted camper van to the furthest north drivable place in all of North America. And today's going to be our toughest test yet, as an Arctic chill sets in, dropping the temperature 40 below.
Here goes. Uh-oh.
What?
Uh-oh.
This might be our only heat source for tonight. I live in Canada and it gets pretty cold there in the winter, but I mean, there's a few times where I've experienced cold like this, but I think this is like I don't know if I could handle this so frequently. And nothing burns like the cold. Like, you don't realize sometimes that the cold can actually burn. And, you know, just like taking pictures with your camera with no gloves on, like your hands burn just from touching the metal. And like I've been out here for like not even 5 minutes and my hair's frozen. Check that. It's just icy. Like, no wonder the diesel heater is struggling. But I mean, if it gets any colder in the van, I don't know if we could stay up here. I think we might have to like push on, but with the temperature it is right now, I think we could tough it out with a few layers in the van. But anything colder than that, I think we'd have to head on. I don't think we'll be spending too much time outside today. My face is burning, but wow, it is beautiful up here, especially at this time of day where everything's just pastel and just is magical.
Oh man, so I'm wearing warm gloves and my fingers are already feeling like numb, like the burn. And Krista here is wearing much smaller gloves, so I can't even imagine how cold.
The air cuts through mine, but right now my hands are in fists so that I can keep my fingers warm.
It's just crazy though, also, like the amount of ice already on us. Wow, it is cold. It got down to close to 0 Fahrenheit in Dead Horse, and we had the heat on max. And it was probably 75, 80 degrees with the fan going in there because we were trying to burn off some soot. So having the fan on max tonight and keeping it just barely above freezing in the van, I think it's got to be pushing 30 below. Unfortunately, we don't have any temperature gauge or anything to really tell, so all we can go off is vibes, and the vibes are chilly.
We're gonna take some photos this morning. We got some pretty mountains around us, some pretty light. How are you feeling, Will?
Very, very cold, like my hands are burning. And I was wearing big warm gloves, but not enough. It is muy chilly.
Very, very cold.
There's something special about the Arctic. A place where the brutal cold seems determined to snuff your breath away. Yet the beauty is somehow even more intense than the cold. Endless glowing white, gently kissed by a golden hour that never fades. And backed by the most beautiful towering pink mountains.
How are you feeling?
My toes are so sore. My hands are a little cold. I don't think either of us have winter boots that are made for up here. My coat is definitely warm enough, like I'm not struggling. like for warmth here. My legs are a little cold, but my feet are what's really killing me right now.
See how thick the ice is on
Yeah.
her hair.
And that's after it's melted off a little bit already.
Very cold out there.
Yeah.
Very, very cold. I'm a little concerned. Will the van start up? We'll have to find that out in a
Yeah.
bit, but you're gonna have breakfast and stuff like that
Yeah,
first.
warm up, have some hot chocolate or tea or something, have some breakfast, and then we're gonna drive a little bit today, but not too far. We're planning on spending, what, 2 more nights up here?
Yeah, at least. Yeah, something
One
like
more
that.
night on this side of the pass?
Yep. And then maybe
So 3
2
more nights
Yeah,
then.
3 more nights probably.
So 2 more nights on this side of the pass, and then 1 more night on the other side, and then zip back to Fairbanks and start making our way south a little bit. We're gonna make some, I don't know if Will's gonna make another coffee, but I'm gonna have some hot chocolate because I am Chile. And every once in a while, since this morning, we've been trying to figure out, there's been like this crackling sound, and we were kind of worried. I'm like, is that something like starting to catch fire? Like, what is happening? And then we just kept hearing it, and it's kind of like worrying. But then we realized
We have a jug of distilled water that was sitting by the door, and it's completely frozen and it was crackling as it froze.
yeah, and keep in mind, like it's completely frozen, and it's inside the van on this side where we have the heat running.
Yeah.
So that's not good. It means it's pretty chilly in here. I mean, it's not that, like, it's, how do I say that? It gets, I feel like it only got frozen because when we drive, the heat's not on back here, so it gets very cold back here when we're driving.
Yeah, and then also the heat doesn't blow. Like wherever the heat's blowing, it's warmer, but like in the cupboards, it's colder. Anywhere where the heat's not getting it gets really cold. So
Yeah, but in here, yes, it's chilly, but we're okay. Okay, let's get some water for our nice warm drinks.
Uh-oh.
What?
Uh-oh. I think our pipes are
Yeah, that's not good.
not good at all.
Is everything in the jug frozen too?
No. The jug should be okay. Yeah, the jug seemed okay.
It sounded a little icy.
Might be, I don't know. Oh. Well, the water jugs aren't frozen, but I'm kind of a little worried that the water in the pump might have froze, and that can break the pump, so really hoping that didn't happen. But we'll see. I'm also going to check and see if a fuse is blown. Maybe when it heats back up, even if something frozen there, it'll be okay, but likely that will destroy the pump because of like cracking the chamber. So really hoping that it's just a fuse, or that maybe we're lucky and nothing cracked or anything. Well, it seems like the fuses aren't blown, so that's not exactly what I was hoping for, but yeah, I think the only thing we can really do now is just wait until it hopefully warms up in here a little bit and see if it turns back on again, or
Is there
really
a
what's
way to
happening.
like disconnect it and put it by the heater a little bit?
Not really, not super.
I don't know how any of that works, so
Yeah.
figured I'd ask. I'm sure you would have done it if that was something that could be done.
Yeah, it would probably be a big mess, and also like I have it all plumbed, and like with all the plumber's tape, I'm likely to kind of cause more damage than I would good. So yeah.
Well, good thing we saved my jug of water.
Yep.
I knew I filled it up for something the other night.
It really doesn't feel that cold in there. It's like,
Yeah, it's weird. But is it like metal?
yeah, so
Yeah,
that can
that's why.
that can let cool a little more.
Because even like feel my little tripod right now that the camera's on.
Yeah, it's pretty
Like
cold.
it's pretty icy.
Yeah.
So the pump is fine, okay? But as with any product, you can't have issues. That is a simple. Not really a 2 minute.
Well, I think the pressure switch is gone in the pump, or there's a number of things that could have gone wrong, but end of the story, basically, I don't think we're gonna have running water for the next few days until we can get back to Fairbanks, and I can really take it apart and figure out what we can do and if we need to replace or whatever. But thankfully we still have some water jugs and we can pour water. It's gonna be a pain, but I guess when you're in the Arctic, sometimes you gotta rough it.
I feel like since we've been in the Arctic, we've been doing a lot of roughing it. It seems like everything's just going wrong, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But right now, we're gonna warm up and have some soup for lunch. We're getting pretty hungry, and it's still chilly in here. Nothing better than soup on a cold day. Maybe hot chocolate. So we expected van life in the Arctic to be pretty tough, but we didn't expect it to be this tough. It just seems like since we started driving up the Dalton, everything that could go wrong is going wrong. I mean, there's a few big things that could go wrong that haven't gone wrong yet, but we're just hoping that they don't happen. But there's been quite a few things so far. One of the first things was driving up the highway, and Will rolled his window down to take a video of the view outside his window. And his window just didn't want to come back up. So we had to push the window up and tape it so that it would stay up. Not having a window up in the Arctic would not be fun.
The next thing that went wrong was my door handle broke. Now, my outside door handle on the driver's side door was already broken, but the inside handle still works, so I could open the door from the inside. But unfortunately, it got harder and harder, and eventually it just broke. The handle would flop. And so, at first I was like, oh, this is not a problem. I'll just crawl out the back or the side like I've been doing already. But then I realized the fuel door is like flapped behind the driver's door, so you have to be able to open the driver's door to open the fuel door. And I wasn't even sure if I could take apart the door without opening it, so that was almost an issue. We were almost not able to fuel up, but I was able to pry it enough to get in there and mess around with it for a while, and I finally got the door open. But it was a little iffy, and so now also the fuel door is just kind of flapping out as we drive, which is probably not great for the fuel door, but whatever.
We're gonna start packing up now and hit the road for about an hour until we find a nice spot to spend the night and get more photos. Yeah. I'm gonna put my snow pants on to go in the front seat. My snow pants were hanging out under the bed, and it's supposed to be warm back here in our little living space, but my snow pants are cold.
Welcome to the ice box.
Oh my god. It's cold up here.
Yeah, the diesel heater's temperature gauge, which was sitting kind of in between here and the back, said 0 degrees Celsius, so it's probably like in the 20s Fahrenheit up here.
Alright, moment of truth. Will the engine start?
So we're gonna run the glow plugs here. We're a little worried. It was probably around negative 30 below last night. Celsius, and that'll be the coldest this van's ever tried to start up in, so here goes. Okay, we're gonna run the glow plugs again.
Oh no!
We're gonna run them twice this time. Okay, and running them a second time. Please, van. It does not like the extreme cold. No vehicle does. Okay, here goes. Oh, come on, come on. seeming like it might have wanted to die. Give it a little gas just to... It's not the smoothest idle I've ever heard, for sure, but oh, I'm so glad to hear it. Ugh. Okay. Now we gotta scrape the inside of the window.
Will's gonna go outside now and scrape the mirrors. Our window's still not very clear after all that work. Alright, that's basically the best that we can do. We're gonna start driving now so that it can warm up in the front and start defrosting what's left, which is basically like 90% of it.
We got a little people. It's not the safest, but it'll do for now. Thankfully the road doesn't have much traffic, and I can see I can just have to look around and we'll go slow.
Yeah. Alright, let's hit the road.
Just gonna start slowly going back and forth. You don't want to, when it's really cold out, you don't want to start with a lot. You generally want to reverse first and then pull forward. You don't want to turn a lot. Just kind of do some gentle movements so everything kind of frees up a little bit and nothing breaks.
Nothing breaks.
Yeah, because the cold makes everything super brittle, super fragile, and it can like freeze stuff in place. And so it's really easy to break stuff. So one thing I'm a little concerned about is our engine temperature. When it's really cold, people put grill covers on the front so they're not sucking the cold air into the engine. And we don't have a grill cover. I figured if all else failed, if we needed to, we could make one. But yeah, I don't know if it's gonna get up to temperature, and it's bad to drive your engine when it's cold, so we're just gonna watch it and see if it starts to creep up, and if not, we might have to do something to jerry-rig something to cover the air intake grill at the front.
Another one of our van life struggles that we've had in the Arctic so far is our second night up on the Dalton highway here. We were parked and we got a beautiful aurora show that night, and then we went to bed pretty late, and we're expecting to get up fairly early in the morning, but through the night our CO detector went off several times. I think it went off 3 times on us, and it was so loud and just woke us up, and our heater just stopped working basically.
It all frosted over, so there was a little air intake that had little holes to keep big particles from getting sucked in, and all those holes frosted over, and so it just wasn't sucking any air in, and yeah, that was bad.
This is safe. This is totally safe. Sorry, Mom.
The engine temperature is starting to creep up. That's what we want to see. It's up to about 110 Fahrenheit. So hopefully we just keep seeing it creep up. We want it to be around 180 degrees.
You can see we're slowly starting to defrost over there. We got some little holes.
Yay!
Figured out a technique I was using on my side here. See, I cleared up all this. Now Will's doing it over there. Just take a card, you scrape from where it's already defrosted a little bit. Here's up. Better than what we've been doing.
Well, mirrors have refrosted over. Gotta scrape them off again. It's really important to see when the trucks are coming behind you to pass. You don't want to get in one of their way.
Just really beautiful up here. We're surrounded by ice fog again, but really magical. Will's plugging in the front.
Okay, will the heater start up? I really hope so. It's quite chilly. Don't want to freeze. Alright, let's power her on. So we've been having some troubles with our heater starting. A few nights ago it wouldn't start up, but after trying like 3 or 4 times it finally started up. I was a little worrying, but then the next night it was much worse. It took us over an hour of trying to start it up. I basically had conceded that I was going to have to take this passenger seat out of the van and crawl under and work in the cold. That would have been really miserable, but I went out there and I blew on the air intake and was able to get it going, and then we ran it really high to hopefully burn down some of the carbon buildup. But it's a little nerve-wracking being out here when it's so cold and not knowing if your heater will start up or not. E8, same error again.
Try number 2. What are we gonna do if the heat doesn't go on?
I don't know, I think we might have to just continue on, work our way, start working our way back at least, I don't know, to at least somewhere a bit warmer, because right here it's just so cold and I don't want to have to take it apart here because I have to have my gloves off for part of it, and at this temperature it's just like within seconds.
And touching metal.
Yeah, it just burns my
so
hands. But if I have to, I don't know, we'll think about it. But and also I don't like it right now when it's trying to start it up. We're gonna keep trying to start it up over and over, at least for an hour or so. But every time it starts up, it puts a little exhaust back here because it's shooting diesel, but it's not igniting is the problem, and so it's just kind of making white smoke. It's a white smoke machine, and that white smoke kind of gets sucked in on the cool down sequence, and so we'll have to turn on the fan, which is going to make it even colder back here so quickly. But I don't know, it's not ideal for sure. Maybe go scout around for photos a little bit while we're waiting for it to cycle through, so we're not breathing all the bad air in.
So we just went outside real quick to take a couple of photos. We retried the diesel heater a few times, and
Four times
now, and we got E8 again. We got back in the van after being outside for what, like not even 10 minutes taking pictures, and it just reeks in here. And then we tried turning on the fan and it wouldn't turn on. It took a couple minutes for it to kick on.
Which is so weird, I don't know.
It's very weird. So that's another thing to add to all the issues we've been having up here.
I'm gonna go blow on the air intake some more. It's annoying to not have it going by this point. I'm not happy with how that's going.
One other issue we've been having a lot is charging our battery to power up everything in the van. So we had to get a heat lamp to be able to warm up our battery enough just to be able to charge it while we're driving, because our solar is very inefficient. It's useless up here in the Arctic in like the winter months especially. So yeah, we had to get a heat lamp for down there, and even so it still struggles to charge. It takes quite a while for us to get it going and get it charging. I've also been feeling very exhausted on this road trip. Since starting van life, I've been feeling very tired because I feel like we're just go, go, go all the time, and we've been wanting to slow down, but now that we're in Alaska and we have a little bit of time left, it's been very much so go, go, go. And I don't think I've been this tired while being on this van life adventure so far until being up here. I think it's a combination of a lot of things that's making us so tired. All the stress with all the things that's going wrong with the van, and you know, the window not going up, the diesel heater not heating up, the battery charging, just the compilation of a million things going wrong. It's very stressful, and then on top of that, just driving on roads that are pure ice is very stressful. And I'm an anxious driver, especially in the winter. I do not like driving in the winter, especially when the roads are bad. Like in the winter and the roads are clear, I'm fine, but when it's snowing or icy, it gives me the worst anxiety. So I feel like that's been causing a lot of stress too. And then on top of that, you know, like minimal daylight hours. There's maybe 4 hours of daylight, 5 hours of daylight up here. The sun sets at like 3:30 p.m. and rises at like 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m. So we really don't get a lot of daylight, and that in itself is very tiring. I do have one of those happy lamps that we put on every morning, but I just feel like it's not enough. But yeah, the stress from driving on the road, the stress from the amount of things just going wrong, and the lack of daylight, and also like being outside in the cold to take photos, and just being outside for long periods of time in the freezing cold, you know, your body shivers, and that takes up a lot of your body energy as well, so that makes you really tired. Like, we went to bed maybe like 9 or 10 o'clock last night, and I was still so tired when we got up at 9 this morning. I did not want to get out of bed. I could have slept all day, I swear. I just realized for that whole talking clip I had like a big bunch of hair that was really messy right here, but whatever. It's fine. Man. Also, funny story from our adventures up here in the Arctic. So the other day when we drove up, if you've seen our previous video, we were so sure that we were not going to see Arctic foxes up here, and we saw some muskox and we were so excited. Right after that, we're like, yeah, we're definitely not going to see Arctic fox up here. And not even 10 minutes later, we saw a bunch of Arctic fox on the side of the road feeding off of a caribou. And it's really funny because while we were there taking photos, one of the good things about being on this road is all the truck drivers that come up. So we always know that if something does go really, really wrong and we're stranded, there's enough traffic coming up here that we'll at least see somebody within the half hour, if not hour, which isn't too bad. But the funny thing is one of the truck drivers actually slowed down to make sure we were all right. And looking back on it, it's pretty funny because he must have been so concerned driving by, seeing two people laying in the ditch next to a dead caribou carcass with a bunch of fox running around. Like, he probably didn't know what the heck happened to us. But I had to give him a big thumbs up and let him know that we were okay. But it must have looked pretty scary for him for a second.
Still not working. Another E8. Yeah, this is annoying.
What's it doing?
I don't know. It's making a weird noise.
Yeah, I hear that.
Maybe it's caught. It kind of sounds like it might have caught, actually.
Doesn't sound like it's doing too good.
Kind of sounds like it caught. I think we're good. I think it's weird because it caught before it even started pumping fuel, so with some residual fuel or something, I don't know. Maybe we just got the glow plug warmed up enough or something, but I think it has caught. We'll see. Yeah, I feel some warmth coming out. I think we're good though. I think we got heat.
Hey.
Yay! We're cranking it.
We decided to put the drone up for a little bit. It's getting a little dark outside and it's just really cold. You can actually see my breath in here. Barely. You guys probably can't see it on camera, but I can see it here.
Yeah, a little bit.
Little bit. It is getting a little warmer in here though. I really hope it gets warmer than it did last night. I was just telling Will that I don't know if I can handle being up here another night and having that much stress, not knowing if the heat's gonna start and then just freezing for like an hour waiting for it to start.
Then also not knowing if the van's gonna start, that's the scary thing.
Yeah, especially this morning, like it really struggled starting. We do have a boost, but it is still very stressful. And yeah, like I mentioned, there's a lot of truckers that go by and, you know, we'll be okay. But it's still not fun. It's very beautiful up here and I'm really glad we came. But it's been tough.
Definitely.
The Arctic may have thrown every challenge it could our way, but we're still so incredibly thankful for the chance to take on this adventure. Driving our van to the Arctic has felt like stepping into another world, one so few get to see in person. The cold, the mishaps, the unexpected turns, they're just part of the story we'll laugh about later. But the beauty we experienced here will stay with us forever.
What are you doing?
This might be our only heat source for tonight. Do we have any marshmallows?
I wish.
Well, today was a very eventful day. But now we're getting pretty hungry. I think we're gonna have something to eat. We just don't know what we want to eat yet.
Something delicious.
Yeah, something delicious. We're both very hungry. And I feel like we're both very tired.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're gonna figure out what we're gonna eat here. So Will listed off a bunch of ideas of things to eat, and even though I'm like super hungry, nothing sounds good to me right now. Crab and a baked potato and coleslaw and, you know, there's a billion things I could want right now, but everything that we have in the van, it just doesn't sound appealing to me for some reason. But the only thing I can think of that I really would love to eat is like just white rice for some strange reason. So I suggested we just have rice tacos with beans. It's not even really tacos or anything.
Sounds delicious to me.
It'll be good enough for me.
Just went to put a little oil in the pan and oops.
Here is our delicious meal for the night. Nothing special, but it'll do.
It's gonna be delicious. I love rice. I love tacos. What do you think?
Oddly satisfying.
So good. I love rice. I put a little lemon pepper, some curry powder, some garlic powder. So it's kind of like curried rice tacos, and the beans adds a very nice balance. So they're delicious.
So we officially have drinking water in there again. Got a delicious hot chocolate to warm up.
We had a hot chocolate accident. Oops.
You're not supposed to make me laugh while drinking hot chocolate.
See, I tell all the funniest jokes and I look very funny.
That is not what happened. I don't even know what happened. But you made me laugh after when I had hot chocolate in my mouth. And you can't do that. You know why? Because when I was a kid, I drank hot chocolate and someone made me laugh and hot chocolate came pouring out of my nose.
Oh no!
It hurt. It really hurt.
At least this time we didn't have that.
It almost happened.
A boy and a girl laying in a van. Will they freeze to death?
What the heck is that?
It's a nursery rhyme. It's a good one too. You feel all ready to sleep.
Well, we're getting bundled up one last time for the night. We're gonna go out and put some time lapses out and see if we get any aurora. We were gonna record the whole process being outside when we went to go set out our time lapses, but my phone died very quickly with how cold it is outside. But my battery percentage wasn't very high either, so we both got our time lapses out and we came back in the van and now we're all cozied up trying to get warm. It's still a little chilly in here, but it's not as bad as last night. I think it's a little warmer in here than it was last night. So I think we'll be okay.
We looked on the Windy app and it has some live temperature data coming in from different places. There's a oil pump station for the pipeline a couple miles up the road and it's currently negative 31 degrees Celsius, so pretty chilly. The weather report said it wasn't supposed to be that cold, but I think the weather forecasting up here is pretty garbage, so we don't really know how cold it will get tonight. If it's negative 31 now, I guess it's going to be getting close to negative 40 by sunrise, which is very chilly. So hopefully van starts in the morning and we aren't too cold throughout the night.
Fun stuff. We've had a lot of struggles on our adventure up here on the Dalton Highway and in the last couple of days especially. But I just feel really blessed to be able to be up here and just to be able to explore and travel full time like this and see all of these amazing views.
It's really incredible to be up here and see the Arctic foxes and all the Arctic wildlife, and the North Slope is just like another world. It's so cool and I'm so thankful to get to see it.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. Struggles and all. But now we're ready to head to bed and have a good night's sleep.
Hopefully.
I don't know what else to say.
Good night.
We woke up to frosty cameras and another beautiful Arctic sunrise. Unfortunately, last night's extreme cold took its toll on our van batteries and they dropped much lower than we expected, leaving us with a difficult decision to make. If we try to stay in the Arctic one more night, we will likely run out of power, leaving us with no heat and no way to jumpstart the van if the starter battery fails us too.
It's our last morning here on the North Slope. We're running low on batteries, and so we're gonna have to carry on and start working our way back to Fairbanks a lot quicker. We were gonna spend another night or two, but oh well, it's beautiful up here. A little ice fog this morning, so we didn't get as much light, but still really cool place.
We have a very long day of driving ahead of us, so we made a quick breakfast and got ready to hit the road.
All right, will the van start at 30 below?
Soon we start winding our way up Adigan Pass. This remote and icy gateway through the Brooks Range is the highest elevation road in all of Alaska. This time of year, the pass is a mix of beauty and danger. The steep grade can be extremely icy, so truckers have to build up a lot of speed to make it all the way up to the top. As we rise into the mountains, the view becomes increasingly spectacular. This is a kind of drive that makes you feel small, yet so completely alive. As we reach the top, we are met with a sea of clouds stretching off the horizon, with only the rugged peaks of Gates of the Arctic National Park rising up like islands in a vast sea of gold. As we continue driving south, we can't help but think back on this adventure we just had. Of course it had its difficulties, but the beautiful memories we made far outweigh the struggle. Arctic fox, muskox, caribou, aurora, and some of the most beautiful and unique landscapes I've ever seen. A part of me is definitely sad to be leaving this icy, magical land, but I truly can't help but be excited for all of the adventures waiting for me as I continue this great Pan-American adventure. After 10 long hours rattling south, we finally made it back to civilization, bringing our great Arctic adventure to an end.
Oh my god. Why is it doing that?
I don't know.
This might be our only It's f***ing scaring me, okay? Did you see that?
I just wanted to say thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee. Your generosity helps us keep creating and sharing these adventures with you guys. And a special thank you to Butch Godkin for your super thanks. Your generosity and support truly means the world to us.